you a Cities Skylines fan? Have you been waiting for Cities Skylines 2 to drop any minute now? Well, hold on just a second. There's been a lot of chatter about Cities Skylines 2, and while many of you are wondering if the developers will revamp the art style, I'm here to tell you that the vanilla Cities Skylines art style is actually good. Now, many players have complained that the buildings in the base game look whimsical, silly, and at times dated. But that's precisely what gives them their charm. In fact, the architecture in Cities Skylines is part of a growing movement towards more imaginative and creative design in cities around the world. The game was years ahead of its time when it was released in 2015, and now the rest of the world is catching up to this unique style. But we know there are some skeptics out there who think the buildings are unrealistic. But what does realism even mean? We're playing a game here, building cities from scratch. If we wanted to look at realistic cities, we could just go outside and walk around and maybe touch some grass. Plus, we're not building cities to impress anyone with our cutting-edge design choices. We're building them because it's fun. But hold on, because the game's art style may be about to change. We've all heard rumors that Cities Skylines 2 may have an art style more palatable to North American and European audiences. However, before that happens, let's give the original game a proper send-off. The plan is to create a grand, monumental square, using some of the worst offenders, the buildings that players find unrealistic. To do this, we're going to borrow heavily from the principles of North Korean socialist architecture, which promotes a sense of unity and collectivism among the people. Our design will be a powerful symbol of the unity of the Cities Skylines player base and inspire pride in the beauty of the vanilla game's design style, using the principles of symmetry and repetition with a central figure drawing the eyes inward to create a sense of balance and order that reinforces the idea of a united community. We'll take these principles that are perpetuated by a repressive, authoritarian regime and use them for good. The Sphinx will be the perfect fit for this grand position. The classic ziggurat will sit clearly in view behind the Sphinx, with the king and his castle representing the power and authority that we want to invoke. Our monument will be framed by symmetrical designs on either side, with twin birthday cakes celebrating the longevity of the player base, and two colossal order buildings and transport towers paying homage to those developers who first brought us this beautiful game. We'll include traffic parks and tram lines, an ode to this game's robust suite of public transit options. The main corridor leading to the Sphinx is flanked by carousels and bouncy castles, reminding us that a well-rounded city needs to pay attention to parks and recreation. The beautifully contrasting blue and yellow tiles beneath the Sphinx will be adorned with faces, representing the many players who have come together to keep this game alive for all these years, and to drive home the point that this grand square evokes a sense of power, authority, and looking towards the future. Space elevators will greet visitors at the gates, bringing in pilgrims from across the universe to worship at this great altar. Behind every great leader is firepower and military might. A parade of cannons perfectly aligned in rows on display for the world to see helps remind would-be pretenders to the throne that the vanilla Cities Skylines assets are still king. And with that, I'd like you to consider, for just a moment, maybe they were onto something with this.